The church was quiet in the early morning, the kind of quiet that feels like a held breath. Soft light slipped through the tall windows and rested on wooden pews worn smooth by many years of prayers. The air smelled faintly of old books and polished wood. Father Michael stood near the altar, alone, his hands folded, his head slightly bowed. At 22 years old, he was one of the youngest priests in the diocese, and sometimes the weight of that felt heavier than the stone walls around him. Outside, the town was waking up. Cars passed slowly. A dog barked once and then stopped. Inside, Father Michael breathed in and out, steady and calm. He had learned to love this hour before the day began, when no one needed anything from him yet. No questions, no expectations, just silence and the soft hum of his own thoughts. He had not planned to sing that morning. Singing was something he did only when the church was empty. It was his private offering, a way to pray without words. His voice had been with him for as long as he could remember, gentle but strong, shaped by hymns and quiet evenings. Still, he never shared it. Not really. It felt too personal, too close to his heart. Father Michael had grown up in a small house with thin walls and a loud family. Music was always playing. His mother sang while cooking. His father hummed while fixing things. On Sundays, the whole family sang in church, voices rising together. People used to tell him he had a gift, but he learned early that gifts can make people look at you differently. He did not want to be seen. He wanted to serve. As he became older, the world seemed to grow louder, faster, more demanding. Choosing the priesthood felt like choosing stillness. It felt like choosing meaning over noise. Yet even in the quiet life he loved, doubt sometimes crept in. Was he doing enough? Was he truly helping people, or just hiding from the world? That question followed him more than he liked to admit. The invitation came on an ordinary afternoon. A letter, cream-colored and official, waited on his small desk. It was from a local talent show, one that often sent winners to bigger stages. Someone from the congregation had recommended him, mentioning his voice. The letter was polite, encouraging, and impossible to ignore. Father Michael read it twice, then folded it and set it aside. Performing felt wrong somehow. Standing on a stage under bright lights, being judged, applauded, it all seemed far from the life he had chosen. He told himself he would decline. But that night, sleep would not come. The letter rested in his thoughts like a stone in water, sending slow ripples. What if sharing his voice was not about pride? What if it was about offering something good to a wider world that felt tired and divided? Days passed. He prayed. He listened. The question did not go away. When he finally said yes, it was with quiet resolve, not excitement. He did not tell many people. He packed his simple clothes, his worn Bible, and his collar. He traveled alone, watching the landscape change through the window, fields giving way to buildings, silence turning into sound. The theater was larger than he imagined. Lights hung like small suns from the ceiling. The stage seemed impossibly far away from the seats. Judges sat behind a long table, Simon Cowell, sharp-eyed and serious, Heidi Klum, warm and curious, Howie Mandel, thoughtful behind his glasses, and Sofia Vergara, smiling with bright energy. They had seen everything, people said. Nothing surprised them anymore. Backstage, Father Michael stood very still. Other contestants stretched their voices, laughed nervously, checked their reflections. He closed his eyes and breathed. He was not here to impress. He reminded himself of that. He was here to be honest. When his name was called, the sound echoed. He walked out slowly, each step measured. The audience murmured when they saw his collar. Some smiled. Some looked confused. Simon raised an eyebrow. "Hello," Simon said. "And what's your name?" "Michael," he replied softly. His voice carried without effort. "And what do you do, Michael?" "I'm a priest," he said. There was a pause. A few surprised laughs rippled through the crowd. "And how old are you?" Heidi asked. 22. More murmurs. Whispers moved like wind through the seats. Simon leaned forward. "And what will you be singing today?" "A hymn," Father Michael said. "One that means a great deal to me." Simon nodded slowly. "All right, let's hear it." The lights dimmed slightly. The room settled. Father Michael closed his eyes for just a moment, not to escape, but to arrive. When he opened them, he began to sing. The first note was soft, almost fragile, like a candle flame. It floated into the space and held there. Then another note followed, richer, deeper. His voice grew, not loud, but full. It carried warmth, sorrow, hope, and peace all at once. Each word was clear. Each breath felt intentional. The audience leaned forward without realizing it. Conversations stopped. Phones lowered. Even the judges grew still. As the song unfolded, Father Michael did not think about the stage or the cameras. He thought of the quiet church in the morning. He thought of his family singing together. He thought of the people who came to him with heavy hearts, searching for comfort. His voice became a bridge between all of that and the room before him. Halfway through, something changed. What began as a performance turned into a shared moment. The air seemed thicker, charged with feeling. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. Howie's mouth hung slightly open. Heidi pressed a hand to her chest. Simon sat back, his expression unreadable, but his gaze never left the stage. When the final note faded, it did not disappear right away. It lingered, as if the room itself needed time to let go. Silence followed. Long, deep silence. Then the audience rose as one. The applause was not wild or chaotic. It was strong, steady, respectful. People clapped with purpose, some wiping their eyes, others simply standing in awe. Father Michael bowed his head, overwhelmed. He had not expected this. He had not planned for it. He felt small and deeply connected at the same time. Simon was the first to speak. His voice was quiet, almost careful. "Michael," he said, "that was extraordinary." He paused, searching for words. "I've heard thousands of singers. Truly. But what you just did, it wasn't about showing off. It was about giving something. And we all felt it." Heidi nodded. "Your voice feels like a safe place," she said gently. "It's rare." Howie swallowed before speaking. "I forgot where I was," he admitted. "That doesn't happen often." Sophia smiled through tears. "You didn't just sing," she said. "You healed." Father Michael listened, humbled. He felt a quiet joy, not from praise, but from knowing the risk he took had meaning. Simon reached forward and pressed the golden buzzer. Confetti fell like light from above, golden glowing. The audience cheered louder now, joy breaking free. Father Michael stood in the falling shimmer, his hands trembling slightly. He looked up, not at the lights, but beyond them, as if giving thanks. In the days that followed, the world seemed to open its doors. Clips of his performance spread. Messages arrived from people across the country and beyond. Some said his song helped them grieve. Others said it gave them hope. Many simply said thank you. Yet when the noise grew too loud, Father Michael returned to the quiet. He went back to his church, to the familiar creak of pews and the soft morning light. He sang there too, sometimes alone, sometimes with others. He understood now that his calling had room for both silence and sound. That sharing his gift did not pull him away from his purpose, but carried it further. One morning, as the sun rose gently through the windows, Father Michael sang again. Not for judges, not for cameras, just for the simple joy of offering something true. And in that moment, the world felt very still, and very full.